Sunny, our California glow girl. That's Gorgeous Lady of Wrestling. And she's in the process of moving this weekend, but she'll be back with us next weekend, live from California. All right, she's moving up into the mountains, though, I think she told us, out of L.A. proper. All right, we got some other things we wanted to talk about here tonight. There was this, of course, most of you probably already have heard about the plane crash over there in Egypt. Even though there are some reports about technical difficulty, one of the terrorist groups in that area, and by the way, they are now diverting flights around that area because of these terrorist groups and the possibility that a terrorist group did bring that flight down. A terrorist group associated with the Islamic State is now claiming responsibility for that. Evidently, the flight was at altitude, or some 31,000 feet. So if this is true and they did it with a missile, that means definitely a big step up in their the sophistication of their weapons. That is not necessarily the case. It could have also been done with a bomb. Evidently, there are reports that the pilot called and said that he was having technical difficulties and was going to divert to the nearest airport and had changed his course in that direction. However, the debris field, we are now being told, is over a very broad area, maybe up to 5 miles, which would indicate that the plane came apart in the air and the pieces just kind of went flying in different directions. Or not different directions, but just separated out and landed in different places. We shall wait to see about that, but they are claiming that this was a retaliation for Russia taking military action against the Islamic State and other terrorist groups in Syria. So we'll see. It's quite possible that this has sort of happened. It's kind of ironic because it has all of the same markings, if you will, of what happened to that flight that went down over the Ukraine, which we now know was brought down by a Russian warhead on a missile. Who shot it is a whole other thing, but it was a Russian missile that brought that plane down. We're not certain yet about this plane. However, because of where it went down, it was basically in a desert. It was fairly easy to find the so-called black boxes, which are actually orange, but they are now in possession of whoever the investigating authorities over there are. And Egyptians can actually do very good investigations, and the Russians are helping them out, and I'm sure that we probably have people over there as well. And it was an Airbus plane, so they have, I'm sure, people there as well. And the ex-wife of the co-pilot says that he was quite concerned about the physical condition of the airplane itself, of the jet itself. So we'll wait to find out about that, but it does have the markings of something happened to make that plane come apart in the air, in flight. Also this, while we're on the lines of Russia, French President Sarkozy, is he the French president? I believe he is. I better get verification of that.
Was.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the former president. That's right. Hollande is the president right now. Former President Sarkozy is saying that the world needs Russia, that we need a strong Russia, that Russia has not had as large enough role in the past, the recent past, and that Russia needs to play a more prominent role, and we should treat Vladimir Putin with more respect. That is an appeaser if ever I heard one. Of course, that's former French President Sarkozy. Also, we have a story about Mitch McConnell and how he came about some of his wealth, perhaps.
Well, no.
No?
No.
Oh.
His in-laws gave him a gift in the 1980s of something like between $5 and $10 million.
Oh, well.
which then obviously made him one of the wealthiest people in government.
Just a little wedding present.
Well, yeah, just a little wedding present. But here's something interesting, right? Have a Coke with a smile. Senator, or shall I say, Mitch McConnell.
The son of a Mitch McConnell.
The son of a Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
His in-laws own a number of ships.
Shipping company, yeah.
And they own a shipping company.
All right.
And one of the ships, the Ping May.
The Ping May
was in Colombia when it was raided by the Colombian DEA.
Oh?
And they found 90 pounds of coke on board.
Oh no, not on the Ping May.
Have a Coke and a smile.
A Coke and a smile. Uh-oh. The old Ping May. The old Ping May had a little blow in the hole down there, huh? Oh my goodness. I'm sure Mitch McConnell didn't know a thing about it.
No, of course not.
All right. Where do I want to go? Oh, here. This is one that is long overdue. Now, in the UK and Wales, there is actually a law against female genital mutilation. It was passed in 1985, if I'm not mistaken. And it was due to the fact that the burgeoning, at that time, rather small yet burgeoning Muslim immigrant population was carrying on a practice, especially if they came from some northern African countries, including Egypt, were carrying on the practice of I don't know what they call it, but we call it female genital mutilation. When they take a young girl, oftentimes she's just entered or gone through puberty, and they mutilate her so that she cannot experience pleasure when having sex, because women are not about having to have pleasure with when you have sex. I was going to say, who's that, John Boehner? All right. Aubrey's showing me another picture here I'll tell you about in a second. In Islam, of course, women are not supposed to take pleasure in having sex, which is why that's what little boys are for. You didn't know that?
I don't think the little boys enjoy it either.
Well, no, they don't. But in many Muslim countries, that is the practice, including Afghanistan and many parts of Iraq. And so what they do is, as I said, this is part of the becoming a woman ritual in many Islamic countries.
Including England.
Including England. So in 1985, England and Wales outlawed the practice. Unfortunately, it is continuing to happen because they now have much larger and concentrated areas, populations of Muslims. And Sharia law is what they want to have rule their daily lives. And this is a part of all of that. So now the UK and Wales are contemplating passing laws that if anyone knows that this practice is going on, like, say, a doctor or a nurse who examines one of these young women, if they know that this practice is going on and do not say anything about it, they can be held criminally responsible. Over this period of, since 1985, about 20 years, they think that there has been as many as 125,000 young women in the UK and Wales who have had this done to them. And they believe that around the world there are some 125 million women who have had this procedure done to them. So it is a horrific thing. And it is nonetheless a part of that peaceful religion that, you know, when they have the call to prayers, that our president finds there to be no more beautiful sound than that. Which, by the way, folks, the call to prayer is the call for you to come and submit to Allah. That's what the call to prayer is to come and show your submission to Allah. That is what this president considers to be one of the most beautiful sounds in the world. I wonder if the girls who scream and cry during this procedure, if that's a beautiful sound to this president too.
He doesn't attend those.
I guess, yeah, he doesn't even think about it.
But it's going to be a beautiful noise when he departs.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed it is. That's right. So, also, there is also a report out showing that assaults on police officers are on the rise. And by the way, another police officer has died. This one was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a routine traffic stop. He was shot several times by a convicted felon, and he has now died. His name, ironically enough, or at least to us, his name is Officer Daniel Webster. No relation that I know of to our own Congressman Daniel Webster, other than they had the same name. He was former Army man, highly decorated police officer, shot while doing a routine traffic stop. And this sort of thing is, again, on the rise. It had peaked, these type of assaults on police officers had peaked in the early 90s at, believe it or not, 500 in I believe it was 93 or 94, 500 officers were killed in this sort of fashion, just shot, doing their job, assassinated, if you will. That